Happy Sunday from Clearwater, Florida. I hope you are enjoying this beautiful day and in a very special space, being able to appreciate where you're at in your life, to see the blessings. Today I really wanted to come out and just spread some positivity, some upliftment, any support that is needed for anyone out there that feels they're going through some tumultuous times. I know these times are very difficult because we're being forced to do things we're not used to doing. We're being told we have to obey and follow rules that normally you would maybe question. I don't know. All these things that are coming up are trying to, whether it feels like someone's doing it to you or you're choosing to do it, it's all meant to bring you back to you, to really truly return you to who you are, remind you that you are more than just this body, to relate to yourself, to take time to get to know who are you. What is your role in this life? What is your legacy? What is it that you came here to do? We all came here to serve in one capacity or another. We're not just here to go through the motions, to follow blindly. We are here to question. We are here to speak. We are here to have open dialogues, to communicate, to connect, to appreciate, to create, to expand. That's what life is about. Life is about coming together for the common good of all. The common goal is to be in joy. When we're not in joy, it's showing we're out of alignment with our being, our self, our soul, our heart. And most of you have felt something doesn't feel good. It's icky, it's shitty, it's murky, it sucks. And if you notice that, do you realize there's something in that? There's beauty in that. There's poetry to life. That if you can take what feels like discomfort, itchies, pain, anything you dislike, is really a wake-up call to focus on what you do like and to be grateful for that to come up into your life. Because when something arises, gets your attention because it's something you don't want to be dealt with, you don't want to face, you don't want to confront, it's all the more reason to do it. It's all the more reason to actually thank it. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling obnoxiously annoyed and frustrated. God bless you, you're human. Celebrate that. That's an aspect of being human. That's what we came here to do, to have contrast, to have experiences. Somebody did something to you, or so you say someone did something to you. What did you allow? How did they penetrate you in such a way that you feel the victim of them, of their behavior, the circumstances they presented to you? We humans can choose. That is the empowerment. That is the piece of life that we tend to forget and dismiss and deny ourselves. I came here to have experiences, and I'm going to cherish and I'm going to celebrate each and every one. I want to speak softly. I want to walk confidently. I want to feel good about me, solid in my knowing. Because ultimately, this here is what's most important in this moment, right here, right now. You are all you have when it really boils down to it. So you should get to know yourself better. You should take the time to explore. Go in here with here. Go into your own head through your heart. Have compassion. Open yourself up to the awareness of whatever it is that bothers you and what brings you joy. Take them and compare them. Confront them. Ask, where does this all originate? What is this about? Who am I? Speak to others. Notice that when you are in conversation, when you are engaging with others, the dialogues that are ensuing are the opportunities for you to get to know yourself better, because we cannot actually experience ourselves without experiencing ourselves through another. That's why life is about relationship, because how you relate to another is actually showing you how you relate to yourself. There's so much depth to the human condition. And we've only touched the surface. Little things that people tend to get caught up and hung up on, they're usually the most insignificant, but they are also opportunities. They are little signals to get your attention, to look deeper, to confront, to explore, to, like a super sleuth, let's go on a mission, let's find out more, let's get curious. You know, that's why children are so special and such a joy to be around, because they remind us about the innocence that we happen to have forgotten in ourselves. Before life got a hold of us and conditioned us and programmed us, brainwashed us, told us how we should think, feel, speak, behave. You know, if you're not this way, you're not fitting in, going along to get along. Children innately have a curious nature. They ask questions. We humans need to return to questions with curiosity, with vivacity and vibrancy, because questions lead to answers. Answers always have questions. And it's a continuous cycle, and you need to become more curious and open up the doors. They're scary because they're unfamiliar. Our mind only knows what it knows from our experiences. We only carry forward what we do for a fact, have experienced, what we know, what we've been told. Quite often we take things on as truth without ever questioning, because we trust. But why do we trust? That's a big question. How do we trust? What is trust? What does trust mean to you? Trust is a big, big word. And if you don't know yourself, how can you trust yourself? And if you can't trust yourself, how can you trust anyone else? How can you put so much power into trusting another until you have learned to trust yourself? So when people talk about somebody did something to me, or was it that you feel you were deceived because in essence you wanted to believe something else? And so instead of listening to your intuition, trusting it, you decided to trust someone else. So you went against your own best wishes, your own intuition. You went against your own soul, truth, knowing. The more we talk about, wow, I should have trusted my gut. I had a feeling, I had a sensation. Knowledge is power. Awareness is key, though, because you can have knowledge, and with that knowledge, gain insight through your intuition and have insight and awareness into something deeper. And these things are normally intangible. You can't taste, touch, see it, whatever, but you just sense it, you feel it, and you have to learn to trust that more. That is like the biggest lost art of the human condition, is our ability to know and sense things that you can't prove, but you just know. We have gifts that we don't even have a clue about because we've been so dumbed down. We've been numbed out. We have been told, oh, you're crazy. Because that's the way that our generations, and it's been passed down through legacies. This is just how it is. This is just the way it is, and it's always been that way. And you hear all these old proverbs and mantras and what have you. But you can change that when you tap into getting to know yourself better. You are powerful. You are a god. You are a goddess. You are a king. You are a queen. If you're willing to step into that role, then you're willing to go through the muck, grow into the mud. Doing the work is not easy, people. And there are so many people who want to just take the quick and easy fix pill. They want to find the answers. They don't even know what to do with them. You get answers all the time, but you're not always open to receiving them. We are always getting signs in nature. We are receiving guidance from our inner soul. Our heart and soul is always giving us the information. But the question is, are you open to receiving it? Because if you're not open to receiving it, it passes you by every single time. Your willingness to participate in life also says, I am willing to hear my inner voice and trust that. That the soft whispers, I don't ignore them. I go, wow, tell me more. I want to learn more. I'm curious. This is exciting because life has so much to offer And some of us are only just touching the surface, tiptoeing around things. We're not fully experiencing it. We're just going through motions. And we don't feel because we've numbed out what felt painful. And when we numb the pain, we numb the joy. So when you are in pain, you're not even realizing that pain is also part of your teachings, your lessons, your blessings. Pain teaches you. It awards you that actually pain is something your soul chose to feel. And sometimes the pain is the catalyst. Sometimes the pain is your gift. Again, if you're unwilling to confront and to face it and to go full on in on it, you're missing out on the greatest gifts, the biggest pleasures that we really came here to experience and enjoy. Enjoy. I know when I came to this human body, this life, I just got excited. I remember what it was like to be a child, to be out in nature, to have such awe that I know there's something big, there's something divine. It's gratitude for just, wow, look how blessed we are. When the wind touches your skin, it's caressing you. Do you know nature just wants your attention, to take a moment to appreciate it, because it is doing this all for us, for you, for me. It's putting on a show. The birds sing. They sing for you. They sing your song. Wow. Yeah. And there's a beautiful bird right there, circling around over my head. And I see you, beautiful bird. It's an osprey. It's gorgeous. And sometimes they come in closer because they really want to know, do you really see me? Ah, I do see you. I do appreciate you. Oh, you're so divine. Nature can teach us so much more about ourselves if we're willing to sit still long enough to be in it, to absorb it, to let it bless us, to let us caress us, to let it sing for us and dance. Nature's trying to teach us to be more lighthearted, to not hold on to things, to these fleeting moments. The bird just passed by. I can't capture and hold on to that. I have to be willing to just be a witness, to just be in the moment, to appreciate, to take in what is happening right now. That the moment I try to reach up and grab and hold that moment, I've lost it. The moment I try to put a label on it or explain it and describe it, I've even lost it. Can you just be still enough to just be? Still enough to just participate as an observer, also experiencing, also witnessing, being witnessed. Because we are witnessed just as much by nature as we are witnessing it. And so the birds will sing. You'll hear other little critters making noises. That's the osprey. Whoop. Oh, how sweet. I love it. And the more you listen intently, deeply listen, the more you will receive the information that maybe you're seeking, that you think you need to go looking for. If you can sit still, you can receive, and everything comes to you. You don't have to go searching and looking for it. It's available to you right here in this moment. But how willing are you to allow it to show up to you? Life is a gift. Life is a blessing. Everything teaches us. Everything brings a lesson. We can get caught up in something because we don't like how it came to us, or we can be in gratitude and recognize, wow, I have an attachment to the way I want things to look. And if it doesn't show up to me, that's where I'm causing my suffering. The suffering is because of the resistance to how it is versus how you want it to be. Think about that. Reflect upon that. How many of you out there are wanting life to show up to you in such a way it's in the box? And if it doesn't look like that, it doesn't sound like that, it doesn't feel like a certain way, then you're upset. Do you realize you're creating that? How powerful it is to choose to not be upset, to not resist, to not to fight over it. Maybe choose a different way of responding. Maybe changing up the way you behave will also change out the outcome of what just transpired. So if something doesn't show up to you the way you want it, get excited because maybe it's showing up to you even better. Maybe it doesn't appear in the moment, but it will unfold. It will show up that way. But you have to be willing to step out of your attachments, your dogma, your perfectionism of how it should be, you know. I was reading over something about how a lot of times we have these individuals that show up in our lives and they just say, well, I'm just this way. You have to accept me as I am. Who's to say you're not accepting that person? But they are so dogmatic and so strong in their belief systems, they don't even see that just by saying that, what they're basically saying is, I don't accept myself. So if you accept me, then you're validating where I'm at. It's very immature to show up to someone and tell them, you need to treat me a certain way because I am a certain way. Like standing in that, I'm just this way. If you don't like it, off with you. I remember that kind of mentality. I was very immature. I was very young. But that doesn't serve anyone. That's not going in with the olive branch and the open hand of receptivity. Actually, that's quite violent. That is not practicing kind behavior. That's very unkind to yourself and unkind to others. If you are one of those people that feels the need to point out how you are just a certain way and people need to treat you, however, you need to appreciate me. You need to just accept me. Who's to say they're not accepting you? You're just demanding it. There's a huge difference. And your arrogance does not make up for the lack of confidence. When you know you are a certain way or you are strong in who you are, you don't actually have to say a word. That's arrogance versus confidence. Confidence is, I am this way and I don't have to speak a word. I just feel strongly in myself and people feel you. Let's break away from the force and stand in our power. Great book by David R. Hawkins, Power versus Force. You trying to force who you are onto people is not you being you. It is all a mask. It's all a charade. It's you playing a part. It's you insisting others change around you and you not doing the inner work that requires you to do the work. It's being very immature because it's saying, I don't want to change. And your change could change your entire life to where you're no longer suffering. But you're choosing suffering whenever you create a resistance, whenever you create a conflict. By saying that, you have created a conflict. You need to accept me this way. You have created a conflict. You are choosing a battle. You're not choosing peace. Confidence is peaceful. Arrogance is a battle. It's going all out war. Show up to me as I am, as I want you to show up to me. Validate me, and you have to prove yourself to that person who is actually trying to prove something to themselves. Some crazy stuff that's going on in the world right now. Nobody needs to prove themselves to anybody. If someone is holding you where you are, you don't need to demand anything of them. You don't need to force yourself on anybody. Because that person is actually loving you where you're at. And they don't need to validate or justify you. They're just being true to themselves and you. So don't feel the need to prove yourself to anyone. And don't expect people to prove themselves to you. This is all a game that was conditioned into our society. This whole idea that you must prove yourself. You have to prove yourself worthy. You were worthy the moment you were born. You are loved and you are loved. Just stop looking for the wrong people to validate that. You will find that once you work on your inner self and you accept yourself, you learn to trust yourself, you start to actually listen to the little whispers and the intuition of yourself. Everything becomes easy breezy, just like gravy. It's like the gravy train. You can choose to get on the gravy train, or you can choose to be on that. It is not a joyride when it's chug a chug a chug a chug. When you feel heavy, you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, there's something you're holding on to that needs to go. But until you're willing to do the work, to look within, to confront all the inner dialogue, to sit in your shit. You know, the lotus cannot bloom without being in the mud. And there's beauty in it. It's painful, it's icky, it's gross, it sucks, it stinks, everything comes up. But there's beauty in that too. And it's all poetry. It's all the divine dance of life. The more you're willing to sit with what is uncomfortable, you will become comfortable. Because when you own even your most uncomfortable, less than desirable aspects, nobody can hold that against you. And if someone tries to point it out to you, you just look at them and like, I didn't ask for that. I don't need someone to point out my faults. In fact, I didn't invite that. And I kindly ask you to leave. Or if you have the need to do that, find somebody else who is asking for that. Because you have to be willing to receive information, and don't go out looking to point fingers at people, because that's not your job. That's not your responsibility. When you are pointing fingers out at people, you have 3 pointing back, and what that means is you get 3 times more reason to actually go within and go, if I'm pointing someone else's faults out, what is that saying about me? What are my faults that I'm not owning? If you feel the need to attack, to belittle, to degrade another person, ask yourself how you're doing that to yourself. Because what we do outwardly, we are always doing to ourselves inwardly. And that's why I have a lot of compassion, having known what I've had to work on myself. That when I see someone who's bitter out in public or around, they're bitter with themselves, that's 100% even more on the inside if they're doing it on the outside. I'm not condoning it, but that person has a lot of work to do, a lot of inner demon work, like confront the demons, make friend with the demons. Those demons are there to serve you too. They want your attention just as much as your light, your beautiful aspects. You can't be light without dark, and you can't be dark without light. They both create each other. And when you are good with both of them and you embrace them both and don't try to, get rid of them and, oh no, that's not me, that's someone else, you're denying an aspect of yourself. And that is like breaking off pieces of yourself. So you need to recapture, reclaim, become whole. And it requires your participation and your willingness to own it all. Own it all. And then if you want, you can disown. But you have to be willing to own what it is, to let go of what was. We are all wanting to be loved, connected, appreciated, admired. There's nothing wrong with that. It is the little things in life we often overlook, we take for granted. If you don't feel appreciated, start appreciating yourself. If you feel other people should respect you, start respecting yourself. Learn to have healthy boundaries. Learn what it is you admire in yourself, what you love about yourself, and make that more of that. Like, accent the positive, right? A lot of times we're out there accenting, we're just fixated on the negative. If you are fixated and focused on the negative, then you're going to get more of that. Take time in your day to appreciate and to grow more of that, because the more you focus on the good and what you desire, the more you draw more to you. Appreciation grows. That's why when you put money in the bank, you earn interest on it. Appreciate. Gratitude. Foundations for life to get so much better. So much better. And I want that for each and every one of you. You may not agree with me, but I still honor you and I still appreciate you. And I want you to thrive. I want you to do more than just survive. Survive means that you're battling. Survive means you've got something that is holding you back or has held you back. I'm a survivor. You know what? I really am very selective about the words I use, because it is all vibration. It is all energy. And again, where attention goes, energy flows. And if you use certain words, you create also part of that resistance in your life. Just like I say, choose peace. Don't choose a battle. When you choose a battle, like people say, choose your battles wisely. It's like, well, if you're always choosing a battle, then you're always fighting. If you're choosing peace, then you're finding calm. And that even through what seems like a battle to many is you just traversing a new path, finding your way. You're navigating, you're dancing with the divine, you are finding your flow, ease, your grace. Gravy baby. I want you to all be on the gravy train of life. I want you to thrive. I want you to dance. I want you to sing and do whatever brings you joy. Do more of it. Take time in your day, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Breathe. The most important thing you could do for yourself is to increase your oxygen, because anytime you are emotional, you are lacking oxygen to your brain. Think about that. Or you are thirsty. Drink some water. When you're emotional, you become irrational. You start to go in the fight or flight modes. So you have to halt. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? Is my temperature too high? Right? Am I thirsty? There's so much to life. And just simple little self-care routines, self-nurturing opportunities to drink some water, breathe in fresh air, get out in nature, find something to visually stimulate you in a beautiful, loving way. A flower. Smell it. Find the joy in your every day. Every day, find your joy. You deserve it. Don't hold back. Don't deny yourself. Go for the gusto. Jump into life with both feet and both hands. And let's do a dance together, because I want to see you running around all happy and joyful. And the next person you encounter, put on a big smile. Say, I appreciate you. Thank you for being in my life. I love you. And if I've ever done anything to harm you, ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. We need to be more forgiving of ourselves and others around us, because really we're always doing the best we can with what we have in the moment. And when you remind yourself of that in this moment, I am doing the best that I can. And then extend that out. You always have to start with self. Because once you start with self, it makes it so much easier to work on the outside, to be more compassionate towards others. You cannot be compassionate towards another until you learn to be compassionate with yourself. That's why it's an inside job. That's why self-help and doing the work is about you showing up to you first. So give yourself the gift of you. Get yourself outside in nature. Get to know yourself better. Remind yourself about what it was like to be that curious child growing up. And let him and her come out to play. Hope you have an amazing day. I'm sending you so much love from my heart to yours. Big huggies, kisses, and smoochies. Mwah! I love you.